In the shadowy world of espionage, where secrets are currency and identities are masks, some stories are so perplexing they defy explanation. From the frostbitten landscapes of the Cold War to the sun-drenched beaches of the Southern Hemisphere, certain spy cases remain stubbornly unsolved, leaving even the world's most sophisticated intelligence agencies completely baffled. These aren't just cold cases. They are enduring enigmas, mysteries that refuse to fade into the pages of history. Today, we're peeling back the layers on the tales that continue to haunt spies and historians alike. These are the phantoms of the intelligence world, the puzzles that may never be pieced together. Our first mystery takes us back to December 1st, 1948, on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. A well-dressed man was found deceased, slumped against a seawall. There were no signs of a struggle, no obvious cause of death. His labels were cut from his clothing, and he carried no identification. The only clue was a tiny rolled-up piece of paper found in a hidden fob pocket of his trousers. On it were two words, Tamam Shud, a Persian phrase meaning, "it is ended," or "it is finished." This scrap of paper was torn from the final page of a rare edition of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. The police launched a nationwide appeal to find the book from which it was torn, and incredibly, a man came forward. He had found the book tossed into his car around the time the body was discovered. Inside the book's back cover, investigators found what looked like a coded message, a series of seemingly random letters that have resisted decryption for over 70 years. Who was the Somerton Man? Was he a spy whose mission had fatally concluded? The book, the code, and his unknown identity all point to a man living a life of deep secrecy. Decades later, even with advancements like DNA analysis, his identity remains a ghost. The exhumation of his body in 2021 brought a glimmer of hope, with researchers suggesting they might have traced his lineage to a man named Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. Yet this potential identification only deepens the mystery. Why was he in Adelaide? What was the purpose of the code? The Somerton Man story is a chilling reminder that some secrets are buried so deep they may never see the light of day. He is the ultimate unknown soldier of the Cold War's silent battles. Let's travel from the Australian coast to the icy valleys of Norway. In November 1970, in a remote area known as Isdalen, or the Ice Valley, hikers discovered the partially burned body of a woman. The scene was bizarre. Her belongings were arranged around her in a strange, almost ritualistic manner. The labels on her clothes were removed, and any identifying marks on her possessions were scraped off. This was clearly someone who did not want to be identified. The subsequent investigation uncovered a web of deception that would stump Norwegian police. They found 2 suitcases at a train station locker in Bergen, linked to the woman. Inside, they discovered a collection of wigs, disguises, non-prescription glasses, and several fake passports, all with different names, but her photograph. She had traveled extensively across Europe, using aliases like Fenella Lorch, Claudia Tielt, and Vera Jarl. She was a polyglot, fluent in at least 4 languages. In one of her suitcases, investigators also found a notepad with coded entries. When the code was finally broken, it revealed a list of places she had visited. Given the height of the Cold War, suspicion immediately fell on espionage. Was she a spy for an Eastern Bloc country? Or perhaps a double agent working for a Western agency? Witnesses who met her described her as elegant, cautious, and always on guard. The autopsy revealed she had died from a combination of sleeping pills and carbon monoxide poisoning from the fire, but the manner of death was ruled a probable suicide, a conclusion many investigators found hard to accept. Why go to such lengths to erase your identity only to end your life in such a remote place? The Isdal Woman, as she came to be known, remains one of Europe's most profound modern mysteries, a nameless shadow who moved through the world and vanished, leaving only questions behind. Now we move from nameless agents to a case where the agent was known, but the betrayal came from the shadows. This is the story of the farewell Dossier. In the early 1980s, at the peak of the Cold War, a high-ranking KGB officer named Vladimir Vetrov grew disillusioned with the Soviet system. Codenamed Farewell, he began secretly passing a treasure trove of documents to the DST, France's counterintelligence service. This wasn't just any intelligence leak, it was one of the most significant in history. Vetrov handed over nearly 4,000 documents detailing the vast Soviet program to steal technology from the West. He exposed the identities of hundreds of KGB case officers and their networks across the globe, revealing how the USSR was systematically plundering scientific and industrial secrets. The information was so critical that French President François Mitterrand personally shared it with US President Ronald Reagan. The farewell dossier allowed the West to dismantle a massive portion of the Soviet industrial espionage apparatus, effectively crippling their ability to keep pace technologically. The CIA even launched a brilliant counterintelligence operation, feeding the Soviets flawed or sabotaged technology based on the information Vetrov provided. But here's where the mystery deepens. Vetrov was eventually caught and executed in 1985. For years, the official story was that he was exposed by a tragic, unrelated crime he committed. However, many in the intelligence community believe this is a cover story. The real question is, who betrayed him? Evidence later emerged suggesting that a mole within the French intelligence services, or perhaps even a CIA double agent, may have alerted the KGB. The most prominent suspect was Aldrich Ames, a CIA officer who was later convicted of spying for the Soviet Union. Did Ames give up Vetrov to his KGB handlers to prove his worth? Or was there another traitor, a fifth man, hiding within the Western Alliance? The farewell dossier was a monumental victory for the West, but it came at a terrible cost, and the full story of the betrayal that led to Vetrov's death remains a contentious and unresolved chapter of Cold War history. Our final case revisits one of the most infamous spy rings in history, the Cambridge Five. This was a group of high-ranking British intelligence officers, Kim Philby, Donald Maclean, Guy Burgess, Anthony Blunt, and John Cairncross, who were recruited as Soviet spies while studying at Cambridge University in the 1930s. They infiltrated the highest levels of the British government, passing state secrets to Moscow for decades. Their eventual exposure sent shockwaves through the Western intelligence world, a catastrophic breach of trust and security. For years, the world believed there were only 5 members. But what if there were more? The mystery lies in the persistent, credible rumors of a 6th man. The theory isn't just a wild conspiracy. It's rooted in evidence and suspicion that has never fully been put to rest. Several individuals have been nominated for this dubious honor. One leading candidate was Sir Roger Hollis, who served as the Director General of MI5 from 1956 to 1965. The accusation that the head of Britain's domestic security service was himself a Soviet agent was explosive. While he was officially cleared after 2 internal investigations, doubts lingered. Another suspect was Leo Long, an intelligence officer who confessed to being a low-level Soviet spy, but was thought by some to have played a much larger role. The problem is that the evidence is circumstantial, a tapestry of whispers, suspicious timings, and intelligence failures that could point to a deeply embedded mole or simply to institutional incompetence. The Cambridge Five operated with such devastating effectiveness that it seemed almost impossible for them to have done it all without more help from within the system. Who was the hidden hand that protected them? Was there truly a 6th member, a master spy who, unlike the others, was never caught and whose identity remains the final missing piece of the Cambridge puzzle? This question continues to fuel debate and speculation among historians and intelligence experts. From the unknown man on an Australian beach to the unidentified woman in a Norwegian valley, from the betrayer of a brave defector to the possible 6th member of a notorious spy ring, these stories share a common thread: the frustrating, fascinating endurance of secrets. They show us that even in a world of advanced technology and global surveillance, the truth can remain stubbornly out of reach. These cases are more than just historical footnotes. They are cautionary tales about the limits of knowledge and the profound depths of human deception. The spies and their masters may be gone, but the mysteries they left behind continue to challenge and baffle us. Each of these stories reveals how truth can hide in plain sight, and how even the most brilliant spy masters can't decode every secret. Perhaps some puzzles are never meant to be solved, serving as eternal reminders of the shadowy world that operates just beneath the surface of our own. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the world of espionage. If you found these unsolved mysteries as fascinating as we do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world's greatest enigmas. Let us know in the comments which case you find the most intriguing. We'll see you in the next video.